When did the idea of the NBA first cross your mind? Were you much younger?
I mean, I came from a family that made me believe that there was nothing I couldn't do. So I was probably thinking about doing things maybe outside the box before your ordinary person. But probably more so in the last like 5 to 7 years, I will say. In my last contract extension at Cal, I did put in an out clause for the NBA because I just thought, hey, this is like a pipe dream, and if I ever want to do it, I don't think anyone's going to want to pay $1 million buyout to get me. I think they liked me, but I don't know they were going to do that. So clearly, I had thought about if this ever would become an opportunity. I have some friends in the NBA arenas who said you could do this, whether it's front office, whether it's coaching. And then I think everybody's minds expanded with Becky, right? And I texted her that. And I said, this would not have been possible if it wasn't, for you, because that just made everything a little bit more real. But again, I was just fortunate that Kobe had a mindset to say, not we want to hire a female, not we want to check a box, but we think you could add value to this staff.
I mean, how did Kobe convince you that seems like quite a leap you're making? Were you scared? What was your initial reaction when all this started?
So Kobe didn't have to do a lot of convincing. I just had to, I think, become familiar with this place and these people. It was a very unique opportunity, and I was always intrigued by the NBA, but I wouldn't have just done it just to do it and say, oh, I'm coaching in the NBA. It had to be this specific opportunity. Coach Beeline, the culture they have here, the amazing high-level people, all of that came together where, as the conversations happened, I was sort of like, how do I not do this? This is really special. Was I scared? Sure. I think, they say if your dreams don't scare you a little bit, then they're not big enough. And so when I started to feel, certainly it was hard for me to leave Cal, a job I was very happy in, a place that I loved. That was the hard part, and it's so new. But ultimately, when I just kind of sat with it a little bit, it just felt right.
How different will it be coaching men for the first time?
So a lot of the things I think are just very, they flow across the board, right? Coaching is about relationships, and just even getting to spend a little time with Darius and Dylan and the other guys that I've met. I think when guys or women know that you care about them, that you know what you're talking about, that you can make them better, they're going to be more willing to run through a wall for you, to listen. I think those things are universal. I'm sure some things will be different, right? But I'm looking forward to that challenge of figuring out how my skill sets as a coach can translate. The basketball is the basketball. So we've been talking this week, doing a lot of X's and O's, and some of the terminology is different, but really all the concepts are things that we've run, that I've game planned around, that I've tried to figure out, and now I'm just talking through with JB and Tony and Dan and Coach Beeline, and it's actually my comfort zone, right? Talking about the X's and O's, and then dealing with young people. And the young women I coached in college, that's the age of Darius and Dylan and Colin, and so it's pretty neat to see how that will translate.
How much will that help you from a comfort level, because you come from college, you're used to dealing with younger players? Do you think that that's even going to help you with the transition, the fact that a good chunk of this roster is relatively young? I think so. Again, it was no surprise that the philosophy here is player development, building a culture, getting a group of mostly young guys to buy into playing basketball the right way, doing the right things. That's what I've studied for 20 years, right? And so I think I'm very much in a comfort zone with that, and just looking forward to being able to add value and figuring it out together with the rest of the coaching staff. But certainly I feel like it's an age group that I connect with. I've heard from a lot of the guys, through the years at Cal that I was close with, just being really happy for me. And so I think I think the people who will kind of take the least notice of it are the guys, right? It's all of you guys and other people who are like, oh wow, it's a woman, but they're like, hey coach.
Do you look forward to the day where the hire of a woman is just the hire, and we're not talking about basketball being basketball?
For sure. The good part is, in this practice facility, it has felt like that from day one. There has not been, we've laughed a couple times about some stuff, but for the most part, JB and Tony and Coach and everybody else, they haven't said a word other than what size shirts do we need women's shirts. I mean, that kind of stuff. But they really have just treated me like one of the staff. So to your point, in this building, we're there, which is so amazing. Nationally, yeah, I am looking forward to that time. And I felt like someone, again, I wouldn't have done it if this didn't feel right for me and my family, but I'm looking forward to the time when someone had to leave a Power 5 head coaching job, you know, and come be an assistant in the NBA, for other people to feel like they can do it, or for people to feel like, hey, maybe there are sitting head coaches who could be head coaches or be a front office, or, you know, we can't, there's a lot of, you know, great female minds coaching basketball that could maybe, you know, add value to the NBA. And if I can help make that seem realistic, then great. But that's not more important literally than me doing, you know, my job today well. That's the most important thing.